Hi guys, for today's vlog, I'm gonna talk about lesson 3, which is audio-visual aids. This is Shane the Abalos. Without further ado, let's get started. Let us first define what are audio-visual aids. According to Kinder S. James, audio-visual aids are any device which can be used to make the learning experience more concrete, more realistic, and more dynamic. We have here the objective of using the audio-visual aid. First is to increase effective of teaching. Second, to hold the attention span of the learner. And third is to save time. So let's start with the educational significance of teaching aid. Uses of all sense organs. It is based on maxims of teaching, helpful in drawing attention, a good motivating force, a good substitute for direct experience and providing clarity in subject. It also helps in fixing up new learning, meet the individual difference requirements, and facilitate quick comprehension and retention of concepts. Here are the characteristics of teaching aid. First, it must be accurate, simple and cheap, motivate learners, meaningful and purposeful, improvised, large in size, comprehensibility, interesting, cost-effective, availability, transportability, appropriateness, and relevance. We also encounter problems and limitation in the use of audio-visual aid. First is the apathy of teacher. A man rather inertial when it comes to accepting change. A vast majority of teachers still prefer to use the chalk talk method through which they were taught. Second is the indifference of students. Judicious use of teaching aids will arouse interest, but sometimes it could enhance boredom and indifference at a time. Third is the financial problems. At one-time investment in these aids is costly and may not be affordable by all schools. Fourth is the absence of infrastructure. Lack of basic facilities, classroom, electricity, projector, chart stands, laboratory rooms to keep models, posters, specimens. The fifth one is the language barrier. Most software is in English, hence it is not suitable to regional medium school. We also have minor problems, which includes do not replace the teacher. Letters and symbols are illegible. Colors are misused. Require more time for planning and preparation. Tempt the teacher to narrow down the subject. Few aids require sources for fixation. Let us now proceed to the classification of audiovisual aids. First classification is the traditional type. Under of it is the audio aid, which refers to the aid that uses the sense of hearing. So these are the examples. Next is the visual aids. So this refers to the aids that uses the sense of sight. Here are some examples. The third and the last one under traditional type is the audio-visual aid. It comprises the audio aids and the visual aids. Second classification is the projection type. One is the projected aid, or visuals that can be projected onto a screen, such as silent motion pictures, film strips, magic lanterns, so on and so forth. Second is the non-projected aid. Examples: different type of boards, display materials, photographs, posters, maps and graphs, chart, models, and specimens. Audio-visual aids can be classified also based on their motion. First is the static aids. These are those used in teaching classrooms which do not move. Example, flashcards, chart, and chalk. Next is the dynamic aids. These are visuals that are capable of moving, like models, motion pictures, televisions, and computers. Next, we can classify based on their dimension of object. We have here the two-dimensional aids, so these are aids that width and height only are visible. Second is the three-dimensional aids, so these are aids that has length, width, and the breadth that are visible. Next classification is based on their size of the media. We have here the big media that includes television and computers. Second is the little media that includes radio, motion pictures, and etc. We can also classify based on their number of the sense organ. First is the unimodal, from the word uni, which means it only have a one sense of that is being used, like the earphone that uses our ears. Next is the bimodal that uses the visual and auditory aids. Audio-visual aids can be classified as non-electric and electric. Under non-electric, we have books, models, and classroom. On the other hand, we have overhead projector, projectors, computers, and others. So let's move on to the steps in making effective audio-visual aids. First is planning. 2 is preparation, 3 is presentation, and 4 is the evaluation. So what are the things that should be done in planning? First, you know clearly the objective of the presentation. Second, you will plan well in advance. Third, anticipate the problem and the size of the audience. And think about the quality of the materials to be used. You must know the appropriateness of the subject. Know the availability of the facilities for its manner in which it is to be used. Second step is the preparation. You must select the convenient and comfortable place. Seating arrangement must be suitable. Make sure that all equipment are in working order before presentation. Prepare by rehearsing to make smooth presentation. In presentation, you must motivate the audience and stress key points they observe during the presentation. Present aids at the right moment in a proper sequence. Display only one aid at a time. Remove all unrelated materials and stand beside the aid, not in front of it. The last step, which is the evaluation, by providing discussion and feedback, evaluate the effectiveness of audiovisual aid in the lecture. And now let's move on to the principle of visual aids. We have first, principle of selection. Second, principle of preparation. Third, principle of physical control. Fourth, the proper presentation. Fifth, principle of response. And sixth, principle of evaluation. Let's go deeper on the tips of audiovisuals. First, select the correct aid. Second, prepare prior to instruction. Third, be familiar with the equipment. Fourth, know how to use the aid. Fifth, make sure all students can see and hear the aid. 6. Check on effect for the class. 7. Practice using different types of aids. 8. Be flexible. 9. Select an audiovisual aid appropriate for teaching. 10. Objective. So that's the end of my vlog. I hope you learned something from this video. Thanks for watching. Keep safe.